September is no longer waiting at the doorway. It has already entered, unfolding like a great river, and now we stand at its heart. This is not the time of beginnings, nor the fading of endings. This is the center, the place where the current runs strongest. In the middle of every cycle lies its greatest power, and mid-September carries with it a rare intensity, a whisper that becomes a song. If you dare to listen, you are not late, you are not behind. If these words reach you now, it is because you are standing exactly where you are meant to, in the very eye of the storm of destiny. In the teachings of the Buddha, time is not linear, but circular. Everything returns, everything peaks, everything carries within it a rhythm, and so too does September, which has now entered its highest vibration. To the distracted, these days may appear ordinary, but to those who awaken, they are luminous with hidden signs. The numbers that rise before you now are not simply digits. They are living energies, messengers, carrying the voice of the universe. Each one is a door, and doors, once passed, do not always reopen. The great seers knew this truth. Nostradamus spoke of codes appearing in the middle of cycles, signals meant only for the watchful. Baba Vanga, in her quiet prophecy, told of signs that surface halfway through, calling those ready to receive. And here you are, midway through September, being given not the beginning of the story, but its turning point. This is the moment to shift, to awaken, to align before the window begins to close. Numbers have always been the language of destiny. They echo in the stars, they hum in the silence of meditation, they repeat on clocks, receipts, and in dreams. They remind us that the universe does not shout, it whispers, and those who hear the whispers before they fade are the ones who inherit their blessings. Mid-September asks you, will you dismiss these numbers as coincidence, or will you embrace them as guidance? In Buddhist wisdom, the middle path is the path of balance, the way between extremes, the way that leads to clarity. And here in the middle of this month, you are invited to walk that path, to let go of rushing forward or looking backward, and to simply stand fully present in the now, where all power truly lies. For it is not yesterday that holds the key, nor tomorrow. It is this moment, this center, this breath. And so, 6 sacred numbers rise before us in this exact time. They are not waiting for the future, nor chained to the past. They are here, alive in the present, offering you wisdom, abundance, and peace. If you ignore them, this cycle may pass unnoticed, but if you listen, truly listen, you may find that they have been placed here for you to guide your steps before the season turns. Ask yourself, my friend, if the universe has already set the keys before me in this sacred midpoint of September, am I ready to lift them, to use them, and to walk through the doors they unlock before they vanish again into silence? Number 13, the hidden awakener. 13 does not come with noise or spectacle. It moves quietly like a shadow at twilight, brushing against the edges of your awareness. You may glimpse it on receipts, in passing times, or in dreams that linger upon waking, and yet its presence is no coincidence. In the eyes of Buddhist numerology, repetition is never random. It is a whisper from the universe, a reminder that your soul is being stirred, called gently toward awakening in the very heart of September's flow. The vibration of 13 is not doom, as the world so often fears. It is renewal disguised as disruption. It is the subtle moment when comfort begins to feel like a cage, when the habits that once protected you begin to confine your spirit. 13 arrives not to break you, but to free you. It dismantles with patience, loosening what no longer serves, creating space where new seeds of growth may take root. Like autumn leaves falling, it teaches that release is not loss, but preparation for rebirth. In Buddhist wisdom, the truth of impermanence is central. Nothing remains, everything shifts, and through this shifting, growth is born. 13 embodies that very law. It asks you not to leap in haste or tear away recklessly, but to pause, reflect, and move with intention. It invites you to examine the choices you've made. Are they aligned with the life you truly seek, or are they echoes of fear and habit? The seers of old warned us of this. Nostradamus wrote of signs hidden in plain sight, often ignored by those unwilling to look deeper. Baba Vanga reminded her followers that symbols arrive when the soul is finally ready to hear, and so 13 comes into your path now, not as a mistake, but as an initiation, a quiet signal that change has already begun within you. Its presence is proof that your spirit is ready to rise beyond what once held it down. 13 does not rush you, it stands beside you like a patient teacher, guiding you toward balance, whispering that transformation is not found in sudden destruction, but in steady awakening. It tells you that endings are not punishments, but invitations, and that every door closed makes space for one more aligned to open. In mid-September's heightened energy, this number reminds you that becoming cannot be forced. It unfolds when you are willing to step into your truth. So I ask you now, my friend, if the number 13 is knocking at your door this month, are you still clinging to the safety of what is familiar, or are you ready to surrender to the slow, courageous awakening that has already begun within you? Number 26. The silent balance. Where the energy of 13 awakens the call for change, the number 26 arrives, as its gentle counterpart, steadying the ground beneath your feet. It does not shout, nor does it demand. It simply appears in the unnoticed corners of life, on a receipt, a doorway, a clock at just the right moment. Yet, within its quiet presence, lies a profound lesson, the sacred art of balance, between what you feel within and what you create without. The vibration of 2 is the language of connection, asking you to see yourself not as separate, but as part of a greater whole. It speaks of relationships, of trust, of the subtle bridge between your emotions and the life you are building. To ignore this is to walk unsteadily. To honor it is to live in harmony with both self and others. The 6 in turn grounds this tender sensitivity. It is the root, the foundation, the quiet strength that carries responsibility with grace. Together, 2 and 6 do not clash. They dance, offering the stability that comes when heart and structure unite. In Buddhist wisdom, this union reflects the middle path, neither clinging to indulgence nor falling into denial, but walking in balance. Just as a bird needs both wings to fly, 26 teaches that true prosperity requires both compassion and discipline, both vision and effort. It is not the promise of sudden fortune, but of lasting abundance, wealth, that grows because it is tended patiently, like a tree watered day by day. Baba Vanga often reminded her followers that the loud victories of the world are fleeting, but the quiet foundations endure through generations. Nostradamus too foresaw that cycles of fortune are never born of haste, but of alignment with balance. So when 26 appears in your path, it is not a passing number. It is a signal that what you are building now must be rooted in both care and clarity, or it will not last. September, with its shifting currents, asks you to walk this path with awareness. Do not be swayed by comparison, nor pulled into frantic striving. The energy of 26 steadies you, teaching that patience itself is wealth, and that harmony is the truest form of prosperity. In its presence, you are reminded that balance is not a luxury, but a necessity for a life that endures with peace. So, when 26 visits you this month, pause and ask yourself, are you running in restless circles, or are you moving in rhythm with the calm, steady truth of your soul's design? Number 35. The bridge of transformation. The presence of 35 does not strike with the force of thunder, nor does it tear through life like a storm. Instead, it arrives quietly, like the first breeze before the season shifts, carrying with it a subtle but undeniable knowing. To those who glance quickly, It may seem like nothing more than a passing number on a receipt, a clock, or a date, but to those attuned to the deeper current of life, 35 is not ordinary. It is a sacred whisper of change, a vibration reminding you that you stand at the edge of transition. The 3 in 35 holds the vibration of creativity, wisdom, and expression. It is the voice of the soul urging you to speak your truth, to create not for applause, but as a reflection of the divine spark within. The 5 is the number of movement, transformation, and courageous steps into the unknown. It does not ask for reckless leaps, but for conscious choices that lead toward evolution. Together, 3 and 5 form a union, a bridge between where you are and where you are called to go. In Buddhist wisdom, restless is not an enemy, but a messenger. When unease stirs within, it is the soul's way of pointing toward growth. The number 35 embodies this truth. It tells you that the discomfort you feel is not random, nor is it a punishment. It is a signpost, showing that the time has come to refine what has been built and to align more deeply with your authentic path. Like a bridge, it does not destroy what lies behind, but carries you forward with purpose. Nostradamus often hinted at hidden passages in time, moments where the flow of destiny could bend if one dared to step with awareness. Baba Vanga spoke of numbers as gateways, symbols that appear when the soul is ready to shed its skin and step into a higher state of being. The vibration of 35 carries this same essence. It is the bridge you are meant to cross, the threshold between the familiar past and the luminous future. To ignore it is to linger on one side of the river. To heed it is to step into the current of transformation. So when 35 appears, it is not there to unsettle you, it is there to guide you. It asks you to pause, to listen, and to ask yourself whether the life you are living reflects the truth you carry within. It does not demand haste, but it does demand honesty, for the bridge of 35 will not wait forever. Its presence is a reminder that the time to align is now. Ask yourself, with openness, are you resisting the whispers of change out of fear, or will you allow the number 35 to carry you across the bridge of transformation into the self you have always been becoming? Number 4, the foundation of truth. The energy of 4 does not arrive with fireworks or demand attention through glittering illusions. It stands quietly, like the unshakable stones of an ancient monastery, unnoticed by many, yet essential to all. 4 does not entertain or seduce, it teaches. It is the vibration of order, of rhythm, of structure. In a world that often glorifies speed, noise, and instant gratification, number 4 is the reminder that what is real, what is lasting, must be built slowly, with care, with patience. In its essence, 4 is discipline woven into form. It whispers of steady effort, of daily rituals that seem small, but in truth shape the entire arc of destiny. Saturn, the great teacher planet, governs this vibration. Saturn does not hand out rewards freely. It tests, it shapes, it asks you to carry the weight of your choices with responsibility. And yet, for those who honor its lessons, the gifts of Saturn are unparalleled: strength, endurance, and wisdom that no storm can wash away. Buddhist philosophy reflects this through the 4 noble truths. The foundation of awakening. Just as a house cannot rise without its base, enlightenment cannot dawn without truth as its ground. Number 4 carries this sacred symmetry. It reminds you that even spiritual liberation is not won in haste, but discovered step by step through the practice of mindful living, discipline of thought, and clarity of intention. Without such grounding, even the tallest structures collapse. With it, even in the fiercest storm, the spirit endures. The seers of time understood this deeply. Nostradamus warned of civilizations collapsing, not from external enemies, but from foundations left unsteady, neglected in the pursuit of grandeur. Baba Vanga spoke of how humanity's rush for progress often blinded it to the simple, enduring truths that sustain life. Number 4 is that hidden strength, the quiet, unseen foundation upon which all else rests. To ignore it is to risk building castles on sand. To embrace it is to ensure that what you create endures beyond your lifetime. So, when 4 enters your path, whether on a clock, a date, a house number, it is more than coincidence. It is a call to examine your base. Are your choices aligned with discipline and truth, or are you building on fleeting desire? 4 reminds you that real success is not in reaching quickly, but in walking steadily, step by step, until even the impossible becomes inevitable. And so, ask yourself, are you chasing the glitter of instant reward, or are you patient enough to lay the foundation strong enough to carry you not just through this moment, but through the endless unfolding of time? Number 16, the call to break free. Where number 4 builds and steadies, number 16 arrives like a storm that rattles the windows of the soul. It does not enter gently, nor does it whisper politely. It shakes, it breaks, it disrupts. To the unprepared, it may feel like chaos, like life crumbling without warning, yet to the awakened heart, 16 is not destruction, but revelation. It is the sudden removal of veils, the tearing down of walls you no longer need. It is the fierce mercy of the universe, refusing to let you remain confined within illusions that were never truly yours. In Buddhist wisdom, impermanence is not cruelty, it is liberation. All that we cling to must one day pass, and number 16 embodies this eternal law. A lost job, a fractured relationship, a dream collapsing in silence. These are not punishments, they are doorways. 16 does not strip away to weaken you, but to show you the lightness of freedom once you let go. It reminds us that even endings are beginnings wearing unfamiliar faces. This number is transformation, hidden within disruption. 16 arrives to test the strength of what you have built. If your foundation is false, it will crumble. If it is true, it will endure. And so, the gift of 16 is clarity, the undeniable realization of what cannot last, and the sacred invitation to walk toward what is real. It is the fire that burns away the unnecessary, leaving only the essence of who you are meant to become. The great seers foresaw this. Nostradamus spoke of sudden upheavals that would not destroy humanity, but redirect its path toward destiny. Baba Vanga often warned that resistance to change would only make the storm harsher, yet surrender would reveal hidden blessings. 16 is that very storm, the sudden crack in the sky that forces you to look up, to awaken, to remember that cages are not homes and chains are not comfort. And so, when 16 crosses your path, on a date, in a dream, on a bill you cannot ignore, pause and reflect. It is no accident. The universe is calling you to release what has already slipped from your grasp. It asks not for fear, but for courage. The courage to trust that what falls away is clearing the way for what must enter. For in the breaking there is becoming. In the ending there is awakening. Ask yourself now, what am I holding on to that life has already asked me to release? And do I have the courage to let it go, so that I may finally step into the freedom waiting on the other side? Bonus number 44. The sacred anchor. At last, we arrive at the hidden jewel of this month, the master number 44, a vibration of deep steadiness and sacred protection. Where other numbers call you toward change, toward movement, toward breaking and rebuilding, 44 does something different. It settles the ground beneath your feet. It steadies your heartbeat when the winds of uncertainty rise. It is the whisper of the universe saying, root yourself, for storms will come, but the grounded shall endure. This number is not loud, yet its presence is unmistakable. It is the anchor cast deep into unseen waters, the roots woven quietly into the earth, that allow the tallest tree to stand unbroken against the fiercest winds. In Buddhist practice, this is mindfulness, the daily return to presence, again and again, no matter how many times the mind wanders. Just as the breath always brings us home, so does 44 call us back to center, reminding us that true power is not in rushing, but in remaining still enough to endure. September 2025 carries the weight of Saturn's influence, the teacher planet, the guardian of discipline, the planet of grounding. Within this alignment, 44 shines as a sacred shield. It does not promise that storms will avoid you, but it assures that you will not be broken by them. Stability, inner strength, and protection flow through its vibration, making it one of the most powerful numbers of the month. It is the foundation that wealth can rest upon, the quiet assurance that prosperity built with balance will not crumble when tested. The seers of old understood this number well. Nostradamus wrote of hidden turning points, times when humanity would be forced to choose between fear and truth, between collapse and resilience. 44 is such a point, a sacred threshold, where the soul either trembles or stands firm. Baba Vanga spoke of it as a shield, a number that appears when one is meant to remember their own strength. She believed that abundance is not in endless pursuit, but in the stillness of one who is deeply rooted in essence. To embody 44 is to choose clarity over confusion, stillness over frenzy, strength over panic. It is to build prosperity not in fleeting gains, but in structures that last. It tells you, do not rush, do not scatter your energy. Ground yourself in discipline, gratitude, and presence, for when the storms pass, it is not the one who ran wildly that remains standing, it is the one who stayed rooted in truth. And so, when 44 rises before you, whether on clocks, receipts, or the quiet patterns of daily life, pause and ask yourself, am I exhausting myself in endless motion, or am I ready to stand still, rooted and unshaken, so that abundance may finally flow into my life, like a river returning to its source? As the wheel of September turns, we begin to see more clearly that these numbers, 13, 26, 35, 416 and the sacred master 44, are not random fragments drifting through time, but a sequence stitched with intention, like beads, on a mala, guiding the soul through prayer. Each one carries a role: awakening, balance, transformation, foundation, release, and grounding. Together, they form a rhythm, a cosmic mandala, a pattern of harmony that does not simply point forward, but draws you inward even as it carries you ahead. In the stillness of Buddhist wisdom, it is said, awareness is the bridge. These numbers are the language of that bridge. They are signs not for the distracted, but for those willing to listen beneath the noise. To notice a number repeating before you is not to witness coincidence. It is to be invited into the hidden dialogue of the cosmos, a dialogue where clarity, abundance, and peace speak in quiet tones to the patient soul. Nostradamus foresaw such patterns, symbols that seemed ordinary but carried the weight of prophecy for those with eyes to see. Baba Vanga often reminded seekers that the universe does not shout, it whispers, and only those who are awake to its whispers can walk the path of destiny with grace. These numbers, then, are more than digits. They are keys, unlocking not only wealth and balance, but the truth of who you are becoming. September 2025 is not a month of rushing, but of noticing. It is a season to pause, to reflect, to step with awareness rather than haste. To walk past these signals is to ignore doors that will not remain open forever, but to walk with them, to embrace their wisdom, is to step into a life shaped by harmony, strength, and spiritual abundance that outlasts fleeting gains. Each number that has crossed your path this month has done so with intention. They are lessons, but also blessings. They are reminders that the universe is alive, speaking not through noise, but through rhythm and repetition. guiding those who are ready to see. The question is never whether the signs are there. The question is whether you are willing to notice them. So tell me, beloved seeker, in the quiet of your own reflection, which of these sacred numbers spoke most deeply to your soul this month? And if these teachings resonate with the path you walk, I invite you to subscribe to old Buddhist philosophy, where wisdom, numbers, and cosmic truth flow together as one path, breath by breath, step by step, in harmony with the eternal rhythm of the universe.